Next up, sports fans can trade fractional NFTs based upon real life sports
Uh,
stats. So, Orrin, what do you think? What do you think about this? And NFTs in general, and the so far untapped opportunities there.
NFTs are super exciting because you're able to tokenize any asset, whether it be an in-game item, such as what projects like Engine Coin are doing, or whether what people are doing are Rarible, or what Franklin is doing. So this is really just exciting because the wave is going to increase. Right now, we believe the NFT market is a bit saturated because anybody and everybody who has a username and a password is going to log on and list whatever art that they can find. But this is going to be the future of how we see even artist to artist interaction. So this is great.
Excellent. Yes, Franklin. What are your thoughts on this? Because sports. I mean, you're dealing with art, but we're talking sports.
well,
Same.
we have a partnership with the Sacramento Kings as well.
Oh,
We also have some other things that are coming in there that I can't quite disclose yet. We have also sold artwork from 2 pro baseball players. So we have Block Party as a brand has a very strong overlap with sports. I'm personally very bullish on sports NFTs as an application. You think about the strong collectible nature of sports, right? People who are fans of, like, I'm a LeBron James fan. I grew up in Akron, Ohio, same town that he did. I saw him play in high school. I will go buy most whatever LeBron memorabilia, right? And the analogy that I always use for people is if LeBron gets into NFTs and he posts about NFT based collectibles on his Instagram, he has something like 75 million followers, right? You know how many people are going to be onboarded to crypto that same day? It could be a million or more. So when we look at NFTs, what we have here is an incredibly real potential to onboard a shit ton of new users into crypto. So for any like naysayers about NFTs, I think you should look beyond your opinion about NFTs as a marketplace within crypto and think about that they will grow the whole pie.
hmm.
They're going to onboard a huge amount of users because the conclusion is this: brands, musicians, artists have already accepted the value proposition of NFTs. I promise you that. There's no question, right? The pitches I give in my day to day are the easiest pitches I've ever given in my life. It's like they just talk about how do we do it, not should we do it.
Yeah.
And we're talking about famous individuals here in a lot of cases. And so their value prop's clear. Post-COVID world, their revenue streams have been clipped, their IRL revenue. If I'm a musician and I was touring, and now I'm not touring, right? Yeah. So how do I make up that revenue? Well, maybe I'm like Justin Blau, the DJ we work with, and he goes and does audio visual NFTs and he makes 80 grand in less than 2 months, right? Well, there's that touring revenue. It's back again, right? So their value prop is clear. The fans will follow them, and they'll follow them into crypto even if they don't know anything about crypto because they are fans, right? So we have this amazing potential to onboard a huge amount of users. Fractional NFTs specifically, I'm also really, really interested in.
Yeah.
I think if we're admitting the problem of the NFT market, it's liquidity is really the number one. I think interoperability is number two, right? So we don't have cross-chain bridges that are standardized yet, but fractionalization and liquidity provision and diverse financial products have to be the number one thing that are missing from the market. So fractionalization is where it all starts. Breaking the NFT down into smaller pieces, the anecdote of investing in 1/1 millionth of the Mona Lisa, right? Incredibly compelling value proposition there, but we need to make it real life. So we're close. Within a year, I think we will probably be there in at least a rudimentary way.
Yep. Yep. And we're DIN. We're they're fractionalized layers, and
Yeah.
they're all NFTs. It's the same thing where you'll actually be able to see, okay, ownership of this amount of NFTs for that layer means that I have 1%, which means that I should expect to generate this much matter per day, which all of a sudden makes it a very approachable. I can actually extrapolate what's this worth if I hold this for 6 months, whatever else. It's a really interesting thing that we're excited about, and that can be applied so many places. So
Yeah, I mean, think about it, Joe. Like right now, and Orrin kind of touched on this. Anyone can go list any NFT on Rarible. There's a problem there, right? And he's right. The market is saturated. because there's not enough filtering. And that's where that word curation that I brought up at the very beginning of the show comes to bear. You're going to see the rise of curated markets. You saw the rise of Rarible, now come the curated markets. The block parties, the super rares, the nifty gateways, the known origins, the maker's place, right? The async, all of those are going to be ascendant because people don't want a flood of content. Now, is there still going to be the need for a free on-ramp? Absolutely. And, I need to also, related to the freedom of the product, not have to buy and sell one whole unit to do anything,
Yeah, right.
And so those are the two sides of it. It's like, how do you get into the market? Well, you get in through a free open system like Rarible, which is not totally free, but that's subject for another day. And you also have the ability to invest fractionally.